What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. I'm back in the building and just taking a little trip right quick. Just some thoughts on my head. Draft is fastly approaching. I'll have my answer if I'm attending the draft this weekend. We'll see what happens with that. This is the slow period, right? This is the slow period of time. Usually, we're all getting hyped up for the draft. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not excited about the draft this year. This year's past is because everything that's been kind of going on. So I kind of been real pessimistic about it. But there ain't really nothing to talk about, But I will say this: it's real quiet on the front right now. You know what I'm saying? Real quiet from the Joneses. They doing regular talk. Real quiet on the contract front. I don't know if that means they're doing things behind the closed doors and then just going to pop up the signings, with either CD or Dak. But if we're just talking about it, if there is no surprises, I'll talk about my own surprises in my head right now. I mean, after this. But if there are no surprises, the first 3 picks, draft, it's got to be an offensive lineman. It's got to be Cowboys. That's what they're going to do, and build the trenches. They're going to get an offensive lineman, in my opinion, unless somebody crazy dynamic drops to the 24th. But it's going to be an offensive lineman. To what person, I do not know. There's so many offensive linemen that they can pick and choose from between guard, tackle, and center. We've already talked about the names so many daggone times on the shows, on drafts. So y'all know what it is by now. Offensive lineman, a linebacker, possibly a receiver, but I feel like they like who they have. If someone fell in their laps, I think they would go after it. But I feel like they're going to get that running back because, can't be hyped on this Ezekiel Elliott thing. So you need an explosive back. You need a back that can really turn up, every down back. That's what the Cowboys like. So I just feel like they're going to get a running back, a linebacker, and an offensive lineman within those first 3 picks unless somebody crazy falls to them. But, in my last bit of saying, everything is on quiet on the Dallas Cowboys front, right? And, there could be a surprise. There could be some surprises because it's real quiet. You feel me? Quiet on Dak, quiet on CD, but particularly quiet on Dak. And I'm sorry, I just can't go away from this Trey Lance thing that y'all did last year. I just can't go away from it. I want to not talk about this thing, but I just can't. I just feel like there's no way that y'all just spent a 4th-round draft pick on this Trey Lance kid and just letting him go and be content with being the backup. Especially, I know all eyes on him, especially if he shows anything in camp or preseason. And I don't know, man. I just feel like he's just not going to be there for no reason. And you never know. Could be some crazy stuff happening on draft day. Could be some crazy things happening on draft day. You know what I mean? It's just real quiet on the front. Dallas ain't did nothing in free agency, not like they've done in the past. If you look at Mike McCarthy's years, he's been there. And since 2020, they have been active. Whether they've been more retreads or they've been more of guys that, been more toward the end, but they're still effective. Dallas still went and was, active in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. I mean, they've been active. And they have not been active this year on the outside, and they got one person on the outside. They got their defensive coordinator, and it's just real curious to me how all these players that were let go to walk. I keep on going back to Stephen Jones saying we need to get people in here that can get us over the hump, can win, the right kind of players, and it just feels like, I don't feel they're sitting on their hands, but I just feel like there's something else going on here. You let 12 players go. You sign one outside guy, one linebacker. You really didn't do anything else. And, you still got Trey Lance there. And I just feel like, everybody's talking about Dak's going to come in and sign out of nowhere. I just feel like, in my opinion, like with this, that, I'm going to just say, I just think that would be a mistake. I'm sorry. It ain't nothing against you, Dak. I really just want you to go somewhere else and win. I want to see if you can go somewhere else and win, I just keep going back to this. I just don't feel like, because let's say this, Mike McCarthy's in his last year of his contract, right? They re-signed Dak. Let's say they signed Dak to another 4-year deal, right? Let's say that this season doesn't go good. Let's just happen to say, it doesn't go good. Let's say you don't have another 12-5 season. Let's say you actually do regress this year. Is Mike McCarthy come back as the coach? Let's say if you regress and don't make the playoffs. This is, scenarios, okay? So let's say you regress, you don't make the playoffs, you sign Dak, you don't make the playoffs, and will the Joneses be happy with them signing all that money to Dak and they don't make the playoffs, and then now Mike McCarthy potentially might be gone? Do you think they will regret signing him? Do you think they would be frustrated with that? The fan base? And this is why I want to ask a lot of people, I love Dez, DeMarcus Ware, everybody, Emmitt Smith. But, when I knew it was time for Emmitt to go, it was time for Emmitt to go. And it's just like with any other place. Do you love the organization? Do you love the player? Because the players ain't going to play here forever. And if one of the players all of a sudden gone, you just ain't going to support the team no more because it's the player. I don't really support the players. I support the players because they're on the Cowboys. But if you ain't with the Cowboys no more, I ain't really worried about you. You feel what I'm saying? And I know people are saying, well, Dak gives us the best chance and you're crazy for getting rid of him. I'm not saying you ain't, but I just don't think he's going to win here now. I feel like those opportunities were there in those playoff years, and I'm not laying all those playoff years on Dak. I've already clearly stated 2016, 2018, I felt like Dak did his thing. Team kind of coaching, other things kind of let him down. Those last couple of years, I kind of felt like Dak was more in the mix of why the failure happened. And I just feel like you had really good teams in those 21, 22, 23 years. You had okay teams those other years, and you haven't did it. And it's not like you're a number one draft pick where they'll keep giving you chance after chance. You feel me? When you're a number one draft pick and you've been getting close, I feel like you get more leeway to, okay, let's try it again because it's getting close with him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you have more leeway with a top 10 draft pick or something, a first rounder, a high first rounder. You have more leeway. When it's a fourth rounder, I think you have more, do we want to re-sign him again? He made himself in this player, but really, is he really the guy? I feel like those talks or those things go in their head. And I feel like, those things happen. And whether you like them or not, I feel like those talks really happen when you're not a first rounder. And after this many years, I wonder if the Cowboys are like, we got a guy who is a first rounder. He was a top pick. He has those tools. It didn't work here, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work here. And what if we build everything around him? And he's young and he's on a rookie deal. We don't owe him a lot of money. We can see we have a team. I just feel like those things are happening. And I can't keep going away from him. Like, every time I want to talk about Dak, that keeps popping in my head. And I just feel like, I just don't think Dak's going to win here now. I feel like he had the opportunity. He had the years to do it, and he didn't do it. And I just feel like re-signing him is just going to do more hurt than good. And people can take me as a Dak hater, which I'm far from it. This isn't even about that. This is about the team and what I feel like needs to kind of happen now. I feel like it was there. It's not there now. And if y'all trying to save all this money, y'all got a guy y'all traded for, why don't you just go to him and see what happens and do it and do this around him and let Dak go. Wait, there's no trade clause. Y'all find a real trade partner where he can really go and flourish and let Dak be great somewhere else and see if he can really win it somewhere else. And then y'all start with your guy Trey Lance because y'all picked him up, so y'all must like him. And build the team around him because y'all know y'all ain't going to want to be wrong, so I know y'all going to go all out for it. I know Trey Lance kisses the ring. Why don't you just do it? And then see what goes on, and then see what happens, and then just go from there. But this back and forth with Dak is just I'm just so over it, and I feel like the team is at a standstill because of it in so many different ways now. And I feel like it's just clouding, and it's not saying nothing about Dak, but I just feel like it's clouding everything what you're trying to do. Just make something happen. And I don't feel like signing him is going to make it happen, because I don't feel like, and I'm not saying Dak can't win. I just don't think he's going to win here now. Just my opinion. I just don't think Dak is going to win here now. So I just don't feel like, why re-sign him then? Get some picks, talk to him, see what's up, and see if y'all can amicably come to something. Get some picks. You got a guy who's young, he's cheap, and see what happens with him, and move forward. And let Dak be great somewhere else, and let the chips fall where they may with Dallas. I mean, because if it doesn't work, if you re-sign him this year and it doesn't work, now you're going with another coach, another system. You don't know what's going to happen. It's uncertainty. It's just a lot of uncertainty if you don't win this year with Mike McCarthy and new coaches with Dak. I just feel like, man, that's to start over again with him being 30, going on 31. Do you really want to do that? Rather than, I don't know, it's just my thoughts. So that's just my thought pattern. I feel like you can re-sign everybody else. Got a young guy on a deal. See what you can do with him. You picked him up for a reason to see. I don't think you picked him up just to be a backup. Expensive backup, and he's young. He's got more skills than Cooper Rush, and you just want to keep him as a backup? Man, I just have a hard time believing that. And I could be totally wrong, but it's just what I'm feeling. But hey, if they sign Dak, it's all good. I'm rolling with it. I mean, I don't think it's going to work, and we'll just see. But I feel like that's the best for all parties now. I think happiness will be around everybody if that just happened. So we'll see. Big Guy James. Oh, sorry about my shows. Haven't been doing shows in a couple weeks. I got to do equipment, the camera. It's just been a long thing. Me and Mike supposed to do shows. It's been really my fault, so I'm trying to get it all together this weekend so I get the shows popping. I was supposed to have Danny Phantom from Blogger the Boys Monday. I'm supposed to be getting Mike Fisher on. I got to call him again so we can get the real about these. I got a lot of questions, so we'll see. But we'll talk soon. Big Gang James. Best of enemies tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.